on the
Yeah, dude, I used to drag you across Peak and Peak because you couldn't
I used
snowboard.
to fucking hate snowboarding. Everyone would leave me.
And I would hang out with Noah.
This is another good story.
Because Zach would just
Zach
bail.
was a dickhead.
Yeah, and I would be like, all right, well, like, I'll snowboard with you, Noah, and he would struggle.
I would be left alone in like the fucking like middle of a valley, and Cayce would come back for me.
Yeah,
I love this man.
I tried to snowboard with him as much as I could. I'd be like, all right, well, like, I want to do shit.
They used to ditch Cayce too, and Cayce would get sad, and then I'd get even worse.
Yeah, and so I would like, all right, well, I'll hang out with Noah, and Noah will eventually get better, and then it'll go up from here. So I'd hang out with Noah. But anyways, something about you learning fear was this process.
Okay,
I interrupted you.
Yeah. So anyways, I used to go in the woods fucking every day, and I was good.
Yeah, woods are fun.
And then I didn't snowboard for like 2 years, and then got super fucked up with my friend. Went, and I was like, oh, let's go through the woods. Blah 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 blah. I go through the woods, and then I wake up on the trail.
Oh no.
That's when your memory comes back.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, let's go through the trail, and then
Oh no.
I'm on the actual hill. It's like, hey,
Wait,
Joe.
what?
It's like, Joe, what the fuck happened? He's like, oh, he was so casual about it. It was the weirdest fucking thing. He's like, oh, yeah.
Good, bro.
He's like, yeah, you were in the snow for a while. Like, you weren't responding. And then, like, you started talking. And then we went to the trail. It's like, what? Like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about?
Did he ever explain what happened?
Barely. Again, he told me what I just said.
Jake had a similar one. He'll follow up with.
What is your understanding?
Well, let Noah finish, and then he'll explain
My
his.
understanding is,
I'm sure you can relate a lot.
I must have fucking domed the tree, and then just fucking got knocked the fuck out. But again, he doesn't tell me none of this. He goes, yeah, I saw you laying in the snow. You weren't really responding, and then I brought you to the trail. And then here we are now. It's like,
That is
hashtag concussion.
Scary.
There are so many concerning points in between.
like, bro, what happened? Okay, like, what did I do? What names was I saying?
He didn't clear any of this, and it gets worse.
That's
so
scary.
I'm already concerned. We go back to the lodge, like, not like the lodge, but like the...
Were you normal when you found yourself on the hill, though?
I felt normal. And then we go to the lockers, and I'm like, licking around my mouth, like my tongue's moving around my mouth. The back of my molar popped out.
Oh man!
Oh no!
The farthest deep molar you can find.
That's not good.
I licked it, and 90% of it came out.
Yo, you made out with the tree.
Yeah.
Straight out, like you married it.
That's when everything I loved scared me.
Yep. You were like, oh wait, like head trauma.
Oh, this shit's real.
Yep.
Well, hang on, Noah. Did any of the like experience before you hit the tree come back to you?
No.
Did yours never either?
I remember most of it.
No.
So let me preface this story real quick.
Nothing.
Let me preface the story just by a joke. So the same day that I went to go pop off of it was basically like a kicker to a rail and into a flat, and I popped off of it and I went to go like indie or tail it, and I like overcompensated the tail grab, and I like caught front end on the land and landed all on like my back right glute, and I was like, ooh, that kind of hurt, and I like recovered for like 30 seconds, and these guys were like basically like 4th or 5th day in, so they followed me and they bailed too, but it must not have been as bad. And so I was like, oh,
not nearly as bad.
Yeah, because like I caught, like I jumped, I popped over this rail, and I was like, oh, tail grab, but like
it wasn't a rail, it was a massive jump.
But it was like so it was like you could do the rail thing, and then so it was one of those. It was one of the dips. One of the 360s where you go up to a flat and then down. Yeah. And so I popped it, tailed it, and then was like on my way down. But it was the first day of the season, and I was like, fuck, I didn't bring my front up after the tail pop, and so when I landed kind of front heavy. And all my weight was there. So then I caught the front end and I over-ended and I landed all right on my glute. And I was like, ooh, that hurt. And so I blew it off to the side and I was like, knocked the wind out of me and it hurt like a bitch.
This year I fucked myself up.
And so I was like, whew, pulled to the side. Next thing you know, like these guys come both bail off the same shit and they're like way inexperienced to do it. But it was like it was
confidence. Like I used to be so good.
Well, it was like it was the first day I didn't even warm up. I just was like, pat, and then like fucked up.
Exactly. I fucked myself up too.
I left leftover monkey shit was like, all right, well, he did it, so like I'm good. So they both did it, but like they like kind of landed or hit it softer or whatever, and they like
Super
rolled down the
soft.
hill after me, and I'm like, I pull off on the side over by the retreat, and I'm like, my glute hurts, like my lower back hurts.
Bro, I
The whole-
hit my tailbone so fucking hard it hurt
Yeah.
for 3 days.
Yo, rest for a
Dude,
second.
just
So
wait.
I pulled, and I was like,
Just wait.
I was like, man, like this kind of hurts, but it's cold, so like I'm kind of adrenalined up, and I was like, after like a minute, I was like, they recouped, and I was like, when I went and snowboarded on the hill, and I was like, man, things feel fucking tight. And I get to the bottom, and I was like, ow, like. I got to the
guys,
bottom
wait
and I was
up,
like, I
wait
pulled my
up.
bindings off and I like got on all fours and did like what they call fucking tabletop. Like I was like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
on my knees and I was like,
No, I literally
something's
thought
not
I
right.
broke my tailbone.
and I
the
sat
day
there. I
slapped
thought
it.
I did too. And I was like, ooh boy. And we were with him, Justin, and this other dude that we don't talk to anymore because he was just whatever. And I was like, all right, well, like,
Spoon
go
feeder
ahead.
too.
You guys like go ahead and do your thing, but like I need to wait a minute. Like this isn't right. And dude, it was so bad that like immediately after that, after I stood up, I was like, we're not bending over anymore. And so I was like, whoo, this is bad. I walked into the lodge and they kept snowboarding. And I remember to this day, it was so bad that like I walked into the retreat and I was standing there and I was like holding my shit. And I was like, dude, this is tight. I couldn't bend over. I was like, I pulled or broke something, but I can still walk. So it's probably muscle. And I dropped my glove at one point on the stair, and I was like, that's nature's glove now. Like, I've just done. Someone walked by, and I literally was like, hey, like, I can't bend over. Can you grab that for me? I called my mom. I was like, hey, like, dude, something's tight. Can you, like, come bring me a Vicodin? Like, my muscle hurts.
Like, I don't remember if you know this.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. And then I'll let you,
Go ahead,
I'll say,
go
I
ahead.
don't remember this.
I gotta get into my story.
And then I'll send it to him. So I was like, whoo, this is tight. I was like, I can walk. I didn't break anything. I won't be able to walk, but like I've hurt something and I want to be able to like drive home. So I was like, hey, can you bring me a Vicodin? Like, and they were like, what happened? Like mom's being mom.
Yeah.
And they show up and they're like, oh, we're taking you to the ER. And I'm like, whoo, this is bad. So like, long story short, I think I go to the ER, x-rays, and everything's fine. Fucking, there's a whole other story I can tell after you two that was fucking hilarious about this. But I ended up pulling my glute, and it was fucked for like 5 days. Like I pulled like straight tear and pull. Like I couldn't bend over, I couldn't walk normal. And on that same day, I was like, dude, like my mom wants to take me home, and it was like him, Justin, and this other dude who like went on his own after that. And so I go home and I'm like, all right, well, like you guys can drive my car because I drove like one of you and there was another car or something. Or no, I took both of you. But I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, one of you guys can drive my car home because my
Yeah.
mom's like freaking out and won't let me like just be me. Like just bring me a Vicodin, mom, I'll be fine. She takes me and then they're fine. And so then Jake has this story where he transitions into something very relatable to what happens to you. So Jake, go ahead. And then what was just remind me your topic? You were going to say it reminds you of...
No, I just fucked myself up.
Okay. Well, anyways,
Alright,
so this is
dude.
where
It's
Jake
not that
Jake relates to
Noah?
your not remembering, and the reason
Noah,
why I wanted
this-
to preface is that
This is
literally in my
this
car.
definitely have to be
This
better
guy
than
was
my
a
story.
different person. He was so
Dude.
fucking belligerent. He broke the rearview mirror on my Grand Am, and it was like that for like 3 weeks.
Dude, hang on. Turn up my gain a little bit. I think I'm a little bit quiet. Here we go.
Clap.
You sound good.
That's
To
only
me, you
because I'm
sound
like,
good.
Do a sound test.
I'm like this far away.
Do a sound test for me.
Oh yeah,
Like
turn
talk.
him up.
No, Jake.
Hello,
Talk.
hello, hello, hello,
Okay.
hello, hello,
Got you.
hello.
All right,
hello.
go ahead. You're good.
All right, so Cayce breaks his ass. That's
Yeah, simply.
That's what I boil this story down to.
I mean, I did. I broke my ass. It was a muscle, but I broke my ass.
I remember me and Justin. You know, we're cruising down the hill. We're having a great time. We're loving it.
Bro, your brother's like fucking like 7 foot now.
Big boy.
Not
Yeah,
really, but
he's taller than me.
I
This
remember
dude-
being
this-
short and I saw him at Vapor Cabana. He's fucking tall as hell.
You go to the Vab Cab, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the place to be.
He's tall as
all right.
fuck.
Vapor
now.
Cabana, your PA, hashtag go there.
Again.
Oh, dude,
just a
Vab
quick-
Cab, let's go.
Just a quick comment. I'm
No.
surprised how fucking
Huge
tall he
comment,
is
but
now.
yeah. So,
Hashtag DJ Bond's awesome.
He's good.
dude,
good
this
man.
dude's a legend. I
Hashtag Rose.
at one point, hashtag Rose. Let's go, Hollywood Undead.
Ooh la la.
Hollywood
She
Undead
got it bad.
slabs.
Okay, anyways.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
I'm
about to get into the song. I can't sing like that guy can. I can't sing like that guy can, but yeah. So
Give me
I
the
remember,
banjo.
I remember at one point we're at the bottom of the hill. Casey's mom comes to pick him up at the peak. they zoom off. And, the conversation was like, yo, my car's here.
She took me, and I didn't even take my board.
Yeah, you guys gotta drive it home. Like his board, his boots, like everything.
I had my boots, but you had to take the board.
Yeah, but like his board was.
My mom
been in a bad place to leave your board.
No, so
No,
like my
hang
mom didn't
Listen.
interrogate at all. She was like, "All right, we're going to the emergency room," and I was like, "Mom, like I can walk." I walked to the car. They didn't have to help me, and she was just being a total mom. So like, and I was like, "All right, like I don't need to go to the emergency room."
For you
and
to call her.
Oh, dude, no. What I called her was
It's half
no.
your
Listen,
fault.
no. Listen. So what I said was, dude, I could walk, but I couldn't do anything like this
half your
or bend
fault.
over. So I was like, "Hey, Mom, I know you have Vicodin. Like, can you bring me a Vicodin so I can like at least be normal?"
Have her drive out 45 minutes to bring you a pill.
25. But like, dude, I needed it to drive home. I was like, "Hey, can you bring me a Vicodin so I can?"
Is that not concerning?
That's not an irrational. Literally,
Think about her
listen,
spot.
No, for sure. But I'll tell you that I called Mom. I was like, "Hey, everything's okay, but like."
Drive 25 minutes to help me.
No, listen. I was like, this is what I told her. I was like, hey, I took a big bail and like one of my muscles hurts a lot and like it's hard for me to bend over. I just wanted like a muscle relaxer or a Vicodin if you have it, so I can like drive
I don't
home.
have kids, but if I did, that would be
But
the most concerning moments.
Your mom would do the same thing. It's
Yes,
a total mom.
exactly.
And that was the only person I could think of that would do something that would, besides like
Drive
me
25 minutes to
me
give you a
bottling,
pill?
me
You think that would
bottling
be
like
the end of
half
it?
a fifth so I could walk, So I was like, hey,
think
just
that
bring,
would be the end of
just
it?
bring me a pill. And she was like, no, like you're coming home with me, bro. And
But-
so. She was like, just go and get in the car.
So okay,
You
so
either
they
tank it or
dude,
that's the end result.
they
Yeah,
zoom
I should've.
off,
I
and
should've.
actually we explore the rest of the peak. The green trails, the the black trails. I think the ones that we were actually on near the retreat were blue trails.
Retreats.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
yeah, it's blue, green,
They're
and black.
So they're greens. They're greens and one of them's black on
Do
retreat.
you know which one?
We were at the retreat, so they're not blues. So like blues, greens,
Regardless,
Allendale. They're all greens.
They're not bad.
Allendale is green.
Yeah, but
And
they're
then to the right
retreat.
is all
Well,
black.
hang on.
Retreat's all green.
Hang on,
and then,
before-
and
To
then-
the right is black.
Noah, before I start my story, what's the one that connects the like retreat trails to the bunny hill?
he was on the
Oh, Allendale.
Is that Alonadale?
yeah. So
Yeah.
he was on. It's just so you understand where. I'm
No.
kind of telling a story, but basically, you
The
remember
Wadey
Hellbender?
Park,
You know
there's the
Hellbender?
Bunny
No.
Trail in Allendale.
So what happened is he was snowboarding on Allendale, and for whatever reason, he had my board, and he was going on Hellbender.
Yo, this is my story.
Okay, go on. But he was on Hellbender.
So-
Hellbender comes from Allendale
Dude, for
back
some
to
reason, like towards the end of the night, I'm like, yeah, we gotta get Casey's board. Like it's about like time we shove out.
Yeah.
So I think I'm by myself for some fucking reason. I think I told
It
Justin.
always happens during snowboarding.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. No matter what, you always
And
somehow.
the reason
are
I
alone.
say I think is because I can't remember. I'm just gonna continue the story as how I
Go for
think.
it. Yeah, go for
Like,
it.
That's the
all
point.
right, so
Because
I'm
he
like,
doesn't remember.
yeah.
feel
So
it.
most of this is freelance. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go grab Casey's board. Like, we need to get it back to the car.
And they were
So
like,
leave
dude-
it on the hill.
I
Yeah,
decided.
you can leave it on it.
No.
No. Oh, my mom didn't
Board.
give me time to grab it. She just put me in the car.
No,
so
I-
it was at the retreat, and I think he grabbed it and on his way
And
back.
all of the
Okay,
cars
okay.
were back at the main lodge. So I
leave
board
that plug.
up.
Leave it plugged in.
I board up to whatever the peak of Bunny Hill is, Alanadale.
Allendale.
Yeah.
Allendale's next to it, the Bunny Hill.
I don't know why I call it Alanadale.
I don't know, but I like it more than Allendale.
Dude,
I'll tell you what.
I think there's an actual A after Allen.
And
That's why I call it
A-L-A-N-D. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Alanadale. So
I'm cool with it.
regardless, I lift up to
Sounds
there.
nice.
I go down to the retreat, grab his board. Scoot up to the top of that
Yeah,
lift.
yep.
The retreat lift.
Allendale.
Yep, and we're Alanadale's
I
lift.
fucking
We're
love
cruising,
that, though.
and
Smooth.
dude,
I like that so much more.
It's smooth.
I do remember. I'm cruising. Left, right. heel toe.
Yep, yep.
I'm catching
Catching the S's.
really,
Yeah.
He's in his-
really
he's
good
in that
S's.
zone.
I'm in my zone. No helmet.
I never wear helmets.
Yeah.
I was
I
wearing a helmet
do
when I fucking
now.
knocked out myself.
I do now, and listen to this story. The wind coming up that hill of the if you're looking at the map, the left like most hill, the one with the steepest drop on like Alana Dale's like steep it like regardless.
Like the end of it.
And actually cutting over to the bunny hill, right?
Yeah.
I catch a gust of wind and it rotates me to my backside and my heel
slapped.
Yeah.
Catches the snow, right?
Bro, people
and
think
I
snow's
slam.
Soft. It ain't.
Dude,
the base is hard.
Dude, I slam my head into that surface.
Bounce.
Yeah.
Bounce.
Been there.
I briefly remember I somehow get Casey's board back to the car.
He like,
dude,
man.
No, dude, Ghost Rider.
He made it to the bottom of the bunny hill.
Dude,
Justin
I made it.
Found him there, and he didn't know his name.
And dude, this is the best part. I called.
Who found him?
Dude, I wish I had the call history. JJ was the like nobody that we had invited that day that disappeared.
Never talked to him since.
I called Justin, and I
probably called me.
I think I called you.
Probably.
I think I remember the number of each of those calls reaching 20 times. But I mean, like their phones were like in there, like whatever, or like in a locker.
Yeah.
Justin ended up coming up to me at the bottom of the bunny hill. I was on my knees with my board.
Justin DJ?
No, Justin's my good buddy.
Different person.
Okay. Still in my board, on my knees at the bottom of the hill. I was just like kind of hunched over, like calling him, like, dude, something's not right. Like I could tell, like something was fucked up.
Yeah.
The minute I saw Justin,
like you,
dude,
clock out. You
bro,
know something's up,
dude. And that was my clock out moment. I don't remember.
You know something happened.
That moment, I was somehow transported from
there to his house.
Everything.
He said that, dude, like, I remember Justin telling me stories. He was like, they drove him back in my car, and, like, he didn't remember his name, and he was being an idiot, and he was, like, flailing. And he somehow managed to bust the rearview mirror on my car. He, like, busted it off, and it was hanging.
Don't remember it.
And, like, he, like, was being a real goof and, like, making, not, like, yo mama jokes, but he was being, like, he was just, dude, he was, like, asking, like, he was, like, drunk. He was, like, what
asking
who are you?
Like, how Casey was, because I knew Casey hurt.
He was
like
narked.
Casey hurt himself earlier that night. The only other depiction in my brain of that night was the St. Vincent sign. For some reason, of like a millisecond of the St. Vincent sign.
He said he called him a faggot so many times. Like Jake called Justin a faggot. Like he was just calling him their names. He was just being. He was like loopy.
But dude, like, the next morning I woke up. I was laying in my bed. I was still in the basement before my brother took it over. You know, whole Kentucky move. And laying there, confused out of my fucking mind.
Like
confused out of my mind. I was like, what happened?
Bro, life gets scary.
No, dude, got
dude,
head trauma is weird.
Dude, and the reason
scary so fast.
The reason it was so scary is my board was sitting at the foot of my bed, which it would never be. It would never be sitting there unless something happened.
I know what this is, you know. Like what is one rock?
And for the next hour and a half to 2 hours, I pieced together the night enough to be like. At one point, Jay was like in the futon next to me in my bedroom. I was like, Jay, what the fuck happened?
Bro, that was how I felt when I licked my fucking tooth off myself.
And dude, the first thing Justin says to me is like, yo, are you normal yet? And dude, I was like,
that's a vibe.
Yeah, dude, I've been sitting here for the last like hour and a half. Like I'm normal. Like I'm trying to piece it together. He's like, all right, yeah. You hit your head. You went to the hospital. You were flicking lights in the hospital and making like weird jokes.
You actually went to the hospital?
Yeah, I went to St. Vincent. I guess I was like flickering the like light switch on and off and like.
He was like a
screaming.
goofball. He was like in preteen mode. He said he called. He didn't know his name, but he knew the word faggot really well. That was like I remember Justin saying. He was like, "Yo," he was like, "What's up? What do you want, faggot?" or something. Like, he just said something like derogatory like that.
Super bad. And the next thing that happened, I went up into the kitchen and I was like surrounded by my family. I was like, dude,
That's
I don't know what the fuck
intense.
happened. And they're like, oh yeah, like you went to the hospital. We brought you home. We had to shower you somehow.
Oops.
Which is weird.
Who
And
wiped the ass?
huh?
I said, who washed her
Always
ass?
mama.
Hopefully my friend
Right,
Justin.
DJ.
Always mama.
Getting deep in there.
But dude, like the worst head trauma I've ever had. Like I even like
No,
flipped,
same.
dude,
Yeah.
flipped my car.